So, does this actually work?
I think this is for the recording, right?
Oh,
The microphone for that?
I was like,
It's just to make it look fancy.
Spread out tentacles and then attach to your brain.
you give the wrong answer. Be careful. Where do you go?
Just step out really quick. I'm guessing use the restroom, maybe.
Sexy night.
Have any of your posters been hit on campus with vandalism?
Yes, beautiful mustaches.
Exactly, me too. I was like telling my roommate, I'm like, hey, they don't look too bad. I'm thinking maybe making it like a permanent change.
Seriously, just despise them. Just get a tattoo of a mustache.
And I was like, I don't know if you saw, I have some tape, like some mustache tape going on, and I was like, they could have at least like coordinated with my tape. But
Okay, if everyone can start getting seated, we can begin the
me
next part.
too. Good luck.
You got quiet real quick. So, these are the candidates for the VP for diversity. Again, if each individual can introduce themselves to everyone, that would be absolutely awesome. You have 2 minutes.
Okay, so we just introduce ourselves and start?
Yeah, your introductory statement, yeah.
Oh, okay. So my name is Mayra Gizar, and I'm running for ASVP for Diversity. I am currently a sophomore here at Western, and the reason why I want to run for this position is because I'm really passionate about diversity in a whole, and I know that I'm the most qualified candidate for this position. Working in the board office as the assistant for club committees, I already have the firsthand knowledge with working with diverse groups on campus, and I have that experience. So I also work with the current ASVP for Diversity, and I know what this position will entail. Along with this, I'm very familiar with the AS policies, so my transition into this position would be a very smooth one. If elected, I want to do a couple of things that I'll list off here. I want to increase representation for underrepresented groups on campus. I want to strengthen the relationship between the associated students, the resident halls, and the rest of campus on here at Western. I want to create a safe and inclusive environment for all identities and bring a diverse representation to the legislature. And overall, I know that I'm the best candidate because I'm confident in my ability to not only lead, but to serve, support, and represent all diverse groups and students as a whole on campus, and making it my responsibility to make decisions based on what the students want to see. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Daniel Lutfi, and I'm currently studying political science at Western. And I'm going to give you a little background about myself and my past and describe to you why I want to run for this position. I'm Iranian myself, and I moved to the United States with my family about 5.5 years ago, right before 9th grade started. And one of the biggest reasons that my family decided to bring me and my sister here is that, land of opportunities, that is truly, it's very true. And the education system here has been far better than I have expected. And most of all, as someone who grew up in a dictatorship, it was very interesting to move to a country where you can freely, without any discomfort, say what you think and what your opinions are. And so it was a very exciting, very interesting experience for me. However, when I moved here, I realized that there was a lot of misunderstanding about Iran and Iranians among the American culture. And the biggest reason for that is, as most of you know, Iran and U.S. have not had any diplomatic relations for nearly 35 years, and that has led to a lot of misunderstanding between the two cultures and these countries. I'm also Muslim, and being in the U.S. in a post 9/11 era has been difficult because of a lot of generalization about comparing the extremist groups to most Muslims. And I'm also gay myself, and coming out in among a a culture that is rather patriarchal and where gender roles are rather well defined was not easy. And with all these three cases and my struggles, I turned this disappointment into an opportunity and used education as my strongest tool to educate people around me about my identities.
Sean?
Well, my name is Sean Lee. I'm currently a business marketing major, and I also intend on double majoring with communications. I have a lot of leadership here at Western with my 3 years here at Western because I'm directly involved with Leader Corps. I also grew up in a very diverse area, that being Federal Way, and the diversity here at Western kind of shocked me when I first arrived. So with my passion to raise awareness of my own culture, being Vietnamese, it transformed me into a character that wants to continue to learn about every other culture available. My strengths as ASVP for diversity is that I have a lot of cultural background by being involved with cultural organizations on campus. Working with the Ethnic Student Center as president for the Vietnamese Student Association, I was personally involved in the struggles that were involved with the student-driven club. I understand what needs to be improved within the ESC and what needs to be improved on our Western campus. If I must, to be plain and simple, if elected for ASVP for diversity, I can promise you, yeah, that's a strong statement, but I can say I can promise you that you'll receive a passionate candidate. A candidate with a strong desire to improve this campus by listening to your voices, the voices of the student body. My main goal is to raise the awareness of the clubs and resources by creating a strong bond of all the organizations on campus, and this will allow the students to take advantage of the resources available.
Thank you very much. So we're going to begin with Myra for the first question. The first question is, it's rather broad. How would you define diversity?
How would I define diversity? So, first of all, diversity goes far beyond the color of a person's skin. For me, it includes race, background, ideology, sexuality, religion, and identity. But do keep in mind, this is my definition, and there's so much more that could be used to describe this word. There's an unlimited number of words that can be used to describe this single word. So I realize that I can't do this alone, and I need the help of the students here at Western to help me define this word. I need help to not just define it, but to redefine it. And y'all might be wondering, why does it need to be redefined? I'll tell you why. Unfortunately, the only thing that comes to mind for most people is color. But diversity is so much more than just color. And as I mentioned, I need all of campus to put in ways that we can redefine this word. And I know that if I'm elected, we can join together and help prove that this term is so much more than just the color of a person's skin.
Thank you. Danielle?
So I would define a diverse community as an environment where you can freely and comfortably explore and express all your identities and the person you are. And that was the case for myself, coming from a family that was struggling with accepting my sexuality, coming to Western, especially Western, and the amazingly accepting community we have here. I truly felt that. I truly felt that I could easily and completely comfortably express my identity, not just my gay identity, but also my Muslim and Iranian identity. And that's how I would define diversity. That's how I would define a diverse community. And once you have this environment built, then you focus on bringing these people who are freely expressing themselves together and building bridges and discussing their differences and building on their commonalities.
Thank you.
I would define diversity as groups of people with different values, features, beliefs, cultures, and other traits that uniquely distinguishes a person, like my other two candidates have also described it as. But I value diversity on our campus because it allows us to progress towards a more inclusive campus through critical conversations and multiple different perspectives. The increase in diversity on campus, I feel like, will prepare all of us to be ready for the world after college that's trending so much more towards a diverse workplace. I view the value of diversity goes far beyond the strict definition, but it goes far beyond the strict definition of the word.
Well, thank you very much. So the next question is going to be, how would you promote inclusivity throughout the Western Washington community? We're going to start with Danielle.
One of the things, as I already mentioned, I'm very pleased with the strong, diverse community that we have here at Western, the amount of acceptance. And my first mission, my first goal, most important goal would be to strengthen this community that we have here at Western. And one of the ways that I would like to do that is to increase our outreach to students about our clubs that we have on campus, about programs that we have on campus. And this was already brought up during the debate for ASVP for activities. And so increasing that outreach, letting students know what their resources are, where they can go, what groups they can get involved with. And once you make that process of getting involved easier, I can promise you, you will definitely have more students involved on campus and engaged in groups where they feel they belong.
Thank you very much. Sean.
I completely agree with Danielle about how to raise awareness for the students on campus. But first, I feel like each resource center and each club should make themselves step out of their respective offices and step out of their physical location on campus and put themselves publicly within the student body. After they put themselves in the student body, I want to really push towards the club and resource centers creating a strong community with each other. By creating a strong community with each other, they're able to assist each other in their personal struggles so that they can help promote their awareness. I would push these clubs to do collaborative events so they can create a strong bond. And with the cohesion of all the clubs on campus and resource centers together, it allows the student body to discover more organizations available. So basically the idea of once they create a strong web of organizations, as soon as you reach into that web, you'll be able to connect with all the other organizations and be further aware of all the resources available. I feel like that after these resource centers and club are a strong web, we should then promote these clubs to host community events so that Western could be the spark of an inclusive community as a whole within the Bellingham community, not just Western in itself.
Thank you very much. Mara.
So the way I would do this is by serving and supporting all diverse groups and identities, which include the LGBT community and underrepresented minorities within the diverse groups, which include, but are definitely not limited to, people with disabilities, women, and veterans. I definitely agree with my opponents when it comes to exposing students and letting them know that those resources are available for them to utilize, and it's important for that outreach to happen. Being a woman, changing the subject a little bit over, the current assistant position is pretty stereotypical in the position that I'm in as the assistant for club committees. This is a role that I serve in, one of the minorities, which is being a woman. And I want to serve as a role model and encourage other women that they can take these large roles as well and kind of step up and take these opportunities to do this. It's important to know that I don't hold all the identities that represent these underrepresented minorities. So, like for example, like the veterans and the LGBT community. But I do want to say that I want to allow myself to learn more so I know how I can be there for them and to support them. Also, something that's very important for me is to use preferred pronouns. I think that definitely promotes inclusiveness on campus. It's very important. It's crucial for people to make a conscious effort to address others by the way they want to be addressed. So for example, him, her, and they, and to not just assume, and also stray away from using phrases like you guys by using more inclusive terms like you all or y'all, whatever you prefer to use. So overall, it's just about respect and wanting to promote this more on campus. Overall, I just want to make sure that I do things intentionally and inclusively in all that I do, and that so everyone has an equal opportunity for a voice when it comes to diverse matters on campus.
Thank you very much. And the last question that we're going to have is, how would you ensure that all parts of the student body are represented in the AS? We can start with you, Sean.
I would say the only way to have all parts of the student body represented in the AS is to personally speak to the students myself. By openly listening to the students and what they want and need, I can either guide them to the resource or club that they desire, or I can inspire them to start a club that will represent the students and the students alike. I'll put myself out there by supporting the existing organizations so I understand their needs, and I'll be out there in either Red Square or other places on campus further representing them. This will allow me to be available to the students and you all, and I can receive direct input and be aware of what you need. As important as it is for me to be able to be approached by you, I want you all to understand that it's also important for you to be able to reach me. I want to start first off by approaching the STARS program. In this program, it gives a lot of tours on campus to incoming freshmen. And what I want to do with that, first off, is to have the STARS program include the Ethnic Student Center. And when you include the Ethnic Student Center and all the other resources in the tours for incoming students, this will allow us to reach out to the freshmen so that we can give them a head start and be aware of all these clubs and resources available before they're a senior or an upperclassman, and just be directly involved with, they're deeply involved with their clubs.
Thank you very much. Mara?
So I know I can represent the students because of my knowledge and the experience in the AS. As the board assistant for club committees, I've been exposed with issues that have risen with controversial events. I know I can take the steps, and I've seen it firsthand on how they can be dealt with and how they can be dealt in a safe space so that everyone is accommodated to. Diversity issues are everybody's responsibility, and I will make sure to hold myself and the AS accountable so that we can fund and promote inclusive and appropriate events. In the job description, I believe all of them talk about how they all are liaisons to their specific duties, and I know that if I'm given this position, I will make sure to fulfill them and make sure that we're including diverse issues and that we are being sensitive to them as well, and that those are being carried on by the board so that that we can greatly represent the AS as a whole and just be that for the students on campus, because they definitely deserve a very strong board and a board that's knowledgeable about diverse issues as well.
Thank you very much. Danielle?
Yeah, so as I said before, the way I defined a diverse community was a community where people can comfortably explore and express their identities. And another issue that I would like to focus on is increasing outreach to students and making sure that incoming students, for example, students who are getting a tour with the STARS program, as Sean mentioned, know about their options, are aware of these ethnic student clubs, gender clubs on campus, and so on. And once you're able to strengthen and expand this range of options for these students who are coming in, who are trying to get involved, that's where you can make sure that all the different identities, not just within the AS, within our Western and Bellingham community, are represented and all have a voice in this community of ours. And also, I just want to make sure that they understand that getting involved with clubs is not the only way to get involved. We have other resources on campus. For example, the Western Front. As a political science major, I very much enjoy writing politically opinionated articles, and I've so far published 4 articles, one of which has been published on the Western Front. And so I just want to make sure that our students are aware of their options on campus, not just clubs, all of the options that they have, and I would definitely encourage them to get involved. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Again, audience participation time. Carly?
Next year, the Vice President for Diversity will be providing oversight for the AS resource and outreach programs. What is your experience with overseeing peers, and how would you apply this as the Vice President for Diversity?
We'll start with Myra.
I think I currently work as the assistant for the ASVP for Diversity, and I've kind of already overseen these steps and what they're kind of doing to include that. And sorry, I'm straying up. Can you I just want to make sure I'm hitting your question right.
Yes, I'm asking. So, what is your experience with overseeing peers, and how would you apply this as the Vice President for Diversity?
Okay, so I kind of I work in taking minutes in the committees and the councils, and I kind of make sure, although my role is to take minutes, I kind of already make sure that the conversation isn't being strayed and just working on that. And I think that experience can be used. So if I were to be elected for this position, I'd be able to oversee it because I already have experience sitting in every single council, sitting in every single committee meeting as well. And I think that experience can definitely carry on into this position. And not only that, but these students, whether or not they'll be returning next year, but regardless, they'll know that I'm approachable because I've moved up from an assistant position up to this position. So I want to be very approachable, and I want students to know that they can come to me, and I want to kind of promote that communication so there's no lack of that, so that anyone can feel welcome to come to me when it comes to issues like that.
Thank you. Danielle?
So I'm a rather social person, and communication is one of my strong suits. And to give you one of the few examples about my leadership experience, there's an Summer Leadership Institute or camp that is held by the Iranian American Alliances Across Borders, and this camp has been one of the most life-changing experiences because it is focused on bringing Iranian American youth who live in the U.S. Currently and helping them understand and explore their Iranian identity. And I, as a counselor and previously a camper, have been very moved by the experiences that I've had that people who I've mentored have. And counselors are responsible for working with nearly 10 campers who come in. And that has been one of the biggest leadership experiences that I've had because there are workshops that we are responsible for every day, which is where we have to collaborate with other counselors around us, and we have to ensure that we can deliver the message of that specific workshop to our mentees at the camp. And I've also been in leadership positions, even though it's been in food service. Regardless, I don't see that as a negative. I look at the experiences I've gained as a leader, as a shift manager, and I have definitely had to work with 5 to 10 people under me and constantly asking me questions, and me being put in the position where I have to make a decision, make a call, because I'm the person in charge. And while at the same time, of course, not completely eliminating the opinion of those under me. So.
Thank you very much. Sean?
So in the past, I've also been a camp counselor. I was also really involved within my high school, being senior class president. But when asking how I oversee my peers, I directly think about what I'm involved in right now. So currently, I'm a Leader Corps member and a Vietnamese Student Association president. And when I think about how I work within my peer groups, I've learned a lot being in college. I've learned that you can't just tell your peers what to do, because oftentimes, they might do it, but later on, they're not satisfied. So I've learned that you have to inspire the vision so that they feel like whatever they do is upon their own shoulders. So I'm not just leading as a president, but I'm also leading as a team. So we feel inclusive together as a whole.
Thank you very much. Any questions? Neil?
My question is pretty simple. What needs to be improved?
Okay. Danielle?
Yeah, so this question has been brought up throughout this debate, and my main goal is to make sure that the students that are coming in, as I mentioned already, I want to increase that outreach. I want to strengthen that outreach. As someone who came in to Western last year, I had my Iranian immigrant, my Muslim, and my gay identity, and I was having a really hard time connecting these and finding my place within this community that we have at Western. And so to answer your question, my main goal would be to increase and strengthen our outreach to students here at Western so that they know that there are hundreds of clubs that they can get involved with, because a lot of them are still unknown to a lot of students on campus. And as Sarah mentioned earlier, reaching out to RAs and people who are more involved in small sections on campus, and make sure that they deliver that message to their peers and to their mentees.
Thank you very much. Sean?
So what needs to improve? Since I'm in the Ethnic Student Center directly, and that's my strong point, I feel that the clubs inside inside the ESC needs to find a better way to retain their members. And after retaining their members, there's a little problem within the ESC with communicating with each other and creating a stronger web. So I want to really push forth and help the ESC clubs in particular bond as a whole. I also noticed that as in my particular club, personally, a lot of my friends being white, because Western is mostly a white dominant campus, right? They feel uncomfortable going to the Ethnic Student Center. And I basically just want to raise awareness so that students understand that the Ethnic Student Center is not just for ethnic people. It's for everybody on campus. So with the awareness that the Ethnic Student Center is inclusive, this should help our Western community drive towards a more inclusive campus.
Thank you very much. Myra.
Yeah, I think they both kind of touched on what I wanted to talk about is through communication and inclusivity, just to promote that. Students need to know that they have a voice in the decision. It's their student dollars that are running the AS, and I think they need to know that they can utilize those resources. Also, like Danielle said, that we need to help support others and just kind of do more outreach. And I think currently working, I think the current VP for Diversity is working on reaching to campus to campus and working with the admissions office and doing things so that they can kind of retain students, especially with the Ethnic Student Center when it comes to things like that. I think just bringing awareness to students as a whole, just so they can know what's going on and just advertise that and promote it and let them know that we are there for them, and just to give them the tools, because although this position is a leadership position, it's also a servant leadership position. We're serving other students and just kind of handing them those tools and letting them know that those are accessible for them.
Thank you very much. I think we have time for one more question. Back.
So the clubs that your position works with has historically not had a lot of collaborations with other AS clubs, or even clubs within the position, such as the ESC, QRC, or the Women's Center. But how would you help foster more collaboration within those clubs, and then foster more collaboration with the AS clubs in general?
We will start with Sean.
So with the problem of no collaboration currently, I would say the first thing I would do is, by raising awareness, by being out in Red Square, I would push for more clubs to do it together, so that while they're out there trying to raise awareness of their own personal clubs, they can also bond and be informed of the other clubs as well. So it's not just an event for just themselves, but it's an event for them to gather and educate themselves of the other clubs available on campus. Because personally, there's a lot of clubs on campus, and it's almost impossible for me to understand every single club. But if they were more available out there in Red Square, I'd be more obligated, or I'd be more available. I'd be more excited to speak to them, and it's a lot easier for me to reach them at Red Square than have to personally find them in their hidden areas on campus.
Thank you. Myra?
So this is already an issue, like you have mentioned, with the this position and clubs in whole, and I think collaboration is very important. Working with clubs, I think working as the assistant for club committees, I've utilized OrgSync, and I don't think clubs know how great that is, and it's a really great resource for you to use and to kind of find other clubs, so you can kind of, if a club is wanting to collaborate with another club, and there's definitely that resource that you can look into and see if, this club, just say salsa club or, some ethnic student center club wants to do a dance event, they could probably find a club that has that, specific club, and so they're focused on that. And I think working with the AS Vice President for activities next year would also be key in that, just working with every single board member to make sure that this is happening. And it's really important for students to realize and club members to realize that they can also be utilizing their club dollars a lot better if they were to collaborate versus doing their own separate thing, and it's just more beneficial for the students. And I think these decisions, they're surrounded, like, the main reason that we're doing this and holding these events is for the students. So I think collaboration is important when it comes to giving the student the most benefit out of attending an event.
Thank you very much. Danielle?
But yeah, so this is a question that came up in one of the ESC club meetings that I was at, and one example of how I would deal with this is holding events where rather than because the heritage dinners, for example, that we have are hosted by one club specifically, and instead of that, I would. I guess not instead of that. Along with that, I would like to see events where it's a joint effort by not just the ESC clubs, the other AS clubs also involved. And one thing that I would encourage all AS clubs to do is to find that one person, and I am willing to be that one person who they can come to when they have an event coming up, when they have a program coming up, when they have a dinner or whatever kind of an event it is. I would encourage them to come to me so I, as the AS Vice President for Diversity, can connect them to other clubs and other groups and members on campus who have similar interests and who would be very helpful in helping them put that event together and perform whatever task they are seeking.
Okay.
Thank you.
Again, thank you very much for participating in the forum.